Hi everyone, it's Kylie here. It's been a very, very long time since I've been here. Not for a lack of trying. Today I'm actually in a different part of Mount Crawford Forest. I have decided to sort of mix things up a bit and was out looking for pine mushrooms or saffron milk cups, depending on what you call them. So I went away from where everyone else has been going, which is, popular parts of Mount Crawford. And then after that, I thought I'd come to another section, which has been quiet on the walkers front, but it feels like as soon as I sat down to do this, so many cars have driven by. So it must be that time of night where people are leaving or arriving to go camping, because there's camping grounds, I think, that way, not sure. Behind me there's a trail. I haven't actually walked the full trail, I've done bits of it. It's called Jenkins Scrub and it's great for during springtime. It has all the wildflowers and orchids and stuff like that. I've done bits of it because Little Mount Crawford is sort of tacked on, and then Mount Crawford is, I think, that way, or even that way. Yeah, actually, I think it's Mount Crawford, then Little Mount Crawford. Either way, so great places for walking and just being out in nature. I have seen a lot of little ladybugs flying around too, which has been great. I had one on my hand, but you know that natural instinct when you feel something on your hand and you automatically flick your hand, and I already had started doing that before I actually looked and saw that it was a ladybird on my hand, which is beautiful. I have to look the meaning up because I've had, every time I've come up here lately, I've had one on me or on my backpack. So I think I need to look that message up because clearly I haven't got it. So I and also, like saying, I haven't done a video here for a while, or at least up in the forest, for not lack of trying. So I've had 2 other attempts recently. The first one was quite funny. I hadn't been in the forest for a very long time, so I thought I need to get up there, and it was a nice day. And as soon as I got to the area where I usually do my recordings, I just sat there and I couldn't sit still. I was like, I need to go for a walk first. So I got up, went for a walk, and so anyone who knows Mount Crawford area, so I started at Rocky Paddock and I walked to Chalk's campground and back. And there's a really nice pathway that they've done through between the two. And I did that bit on the way back. And but on the way there, I was just following the main track that they have, like the roads. And I thought, no, I need to go off grid and go into the trees and walk amongst the trees as I do. And I could hear this coming from somewhere amongst the trees. So of course you naturally look to see where that's coming from, and there was a girl. I just saw the back end of her, but that was enough for me. She had her phone strapped to a tree and I could just see the back end of her, so it looked like she was flashing her tits at her camera and giggling. So I'm guessing she's she was having a bit of fun. And I keep hearing about a site and I can't think what it's called now, but I think some people probably know the one I'm talking about, where people do things, you pay anyway. But I thought it was quite funny. She didn't see me at first, so I probably photobombed her little video there, or photos, or whatever she was doing. I think because of the sound effects, I'm guessing she was videoing. So I was probably in the background like, what the hell? So the things that you find in the forest. But it gave me a bit of a chuckle. So that just completely distracted me. And by the time I got back to my car, I just I'd lost it, so I wasn't really in a forest feels kind of mood, although a friend did make a comment saying that perhaps I should do that in my forest feels, and it's like, no, I don't think so. Yeah, and then other times I've just been here and it's just, you just get so caught up in enjoying the moment. The last thing I want to do is pull out a camera and start talking. But today I'm feeling a bit chatty, as you probably have already gathered. I've been up here for quite a few hours, so I've been getting a lot of good tree vibes, which I needed because I wasn't in a very good space when I arrived. So yeah, nature heals. It really does, just being amongst the beautiful energy and just connecting in, and like the amount of fungi, mushrooms around has been amazing. Like some people going by on motorbikes. So saffron milk cups, which I was looking for. There's other ones as well, but with mushrooms, I don't know. If I don't, I'm not going to play Russian roulette. And it's only the reason why I know what the saffron milk cups look like is last weekend or the weekend before. No, I think it was last weekend. I had one of my walks with Wise Women Walking, and it was a beginner's walk, and I had two ladies that I know from York Peninsula. We've bumped into each other loads at all these different psychic fairs and workshops and stuff like that, and through mutual friends and what have you. So it was a great surprise to see them, and they were camping up in Ironbank and were saying how the mushrooms were just there and how amazing that was. And I said about up at Mount Crawford, so they're like, yeah, we'll go tomorrow. And I tagged along, so it was good to actually have a proper lesson to identify those ones are good. This is how you get them out the ground, cut them and stuff like that. So I know them for sure, and I wouldn't try the other ones. But today, going around, especially here, the fairy mushrooms, the red with the white dots on, they're massive. Like there's some that were like dinner plates, like they were huge. And I've taken heaps of photos of them because I just think they're really cool and magical. And so I've taken lots of photos, but I know they're not edible. It would be so good if they were, in the sense that they're easy to recognise. But no, there's definitely not eating. But that's good. It's good because then people leave them alone, and they're just they have been eaten and nibbled at. And when I was through the forest here, I haven't heard them for a long time, was the pied currawongs, and they were amongst there, and they just have this really haunting sound. And then there's this big kerfuffle on, but I could see them on the ground, and these mushrooms were just knocked left, right and centre. So I think the birds get into them, and probably that's why they spread so much too, because they get knocked around by the birds so they can regrow. But yeah, so it was really cool to hear them. I haven't seen them for a long time, especially even where I normally go. Like they used to be there all the time, but the last few times it's been cockatoos, and even black cockatoos. Seeing a lot of them around too lately, which again, that's probably another message I need to look up. But yeah, it's been great. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so yeah, fun times, and it's just been great to be up here. And I think so when I said I wasn't in a great way when I got here, it's Mother's Day today, so you always feel a little bit I do, and feel a little bit sad because Mum's not here. And this year will be her 10-year anniversary, so yeah, it's been quite some time now. But days like today, I'm starting to get emotional, but you do miss your loved ones, and And also the other emotions that come up with Mother's Day, especially when you see it all over Facebook and what have you, and you're just constantly reminded about it. And for, I suppose, people like me who haven't become a mother, and some through choice, some not through choice, makes it especially hard, I think. But I always think, like with all of these days, Christmas, you should be celebrating everyone every day, like your mum every day, and instead of just being told a specific day. But I could go on about that. But either way, it you wish they were around, but you know that they are in spirit, which is great, and comforting. So I'm just shuffling really badly because I'm like, it's like effort. So I'm just giving these a bit of a shuffle because they've been thrown around for so long and untouched, and for ages. Oh, I missed a whole heap, but there's so many that they're not gonna. Oh dear, I'm having a bit of difficulty with this. When I went to get these out, I've been looking for my ring for a long time, and I found it in my bag. So this is like, my little bag that I carry, and have my microphone and selfie stick and my cards and all of that in there, and a few crystals to give to the fairies when I go to the forest. And I found my ring in there, and it's is that where it is? And it was all mangalated. So instead of it just being, this nice form, it's flat, and it's like, I need to work out how to fix that. So that would be a bit of Googling for me, and I have to get repairing, and because I really like that ring, and I was like really missing it. I couldn't work out where it was, and it was only when I spotted it, and then when I pulled it out, it's like, Devo. Gee, okay. This is interesting. So I finally got a card after all that. And this one's the Magician. And so in tarot, this is card number 1. And I think it might have a different name. I'm not really sure. But, as you see, he's mixing his magic. I'll put it nice and close. And also when it comes to, say, the journey, the hero's journey, or whatever you want to call it, of the tarot, you start at 0 and make your way through to, and so being number 1, that's like, very early on in the journey. So like, and I think it's a perfect card at the moment, actually, because that's what I've been seeing a lot is this weekend. It's just really magical manifesting creative energy this weekend. And when I heard that, like in the lead up, I'm like, I'm not feeling very creative. But I must say this morning, I was like, I should be making some wands and like my fans, because I've got a couple of fans that I need to make because I've got some custom orders. And they've been sitting there, and I haven't been, firstly, I haven't had the time. I mean, that's another story altogether. But I haven't had the ability to do them, but they're always in my mind. But also, I just haven't had that energy for it. And with anything like this, if I don't have, like, especially making stuff, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to make it, because the people who are buying it aren't buying my low energy, they're so I want to make sure I'm in the right space when I'm making it, because it's a healing tool. It needs that energy. So this morning I was like, should have been, could have been doing that, but I knew I had to get up here as well. And also while I was in the forest, I was looking for bones, like I don't think many people realize how much effort has to go into these fans. Like, you know, you don't find bones easily, and I scour the forest. And I know this can be a bit ick for some people, but you know, you go in the forest, and you know, that's what I do, and so they're pretty hard to find. And you know, I was quite lucky at the very end. I found some from a kangaroo, and it had the bones clearly have been there for quite some time, and yeah, so I've been doing that, so at least I've got them, and I've got tomorrow off, so if I'm still feeling this creative vibe, I think I'll get onto them tomorrow. And also a thing that I've you know, I started is a staff, and that's in my mind a lot as well. I want to get my staff done, and there's a beautiful crystal, and I hope it's still there at Carpe Diem in Port Adelaide. I remember seeing it ages ago, like when I've been going there for doing my healing, and it's a beautiful, now I can't remember the stone. I don't know if it was tourmaline, black tourmaline, or if it was labradorite. I've got a feeling it was labradorite, and I hope it's still there, because when I was doing my staff and like thinking, oh my god, that would look amazing on the top, because it's a sculpted animal, and I think that will be just amazing sitting on top of my staff. So I really hope that they still have that, because I think that would be amazing on it, and I want to get onto it because it's been sitting in my car. And when someone made a comment the other day when I was waiting, like it was the beginner's walk, I think it was. So when I arrived for the walk, I have the back of my car open. Actually, no, I think it was the Sterling walk that we did, and I had them all in my car because I've moved them from the shed that I was working, like the workshop I was in, and I had to put them in my car when I moved it all out, and I didn't know where else to put them, so I just left them there. And so of course, like she could see like the wood sticking out, and I said, oh yeah, I really want to make a staff. I said, you know, I'm going to make a staff like when we're out walking, and I said, but I won't use it for walking because it'll be too heavy. Like I'll have a big gun of a right arm, that's for sure, lifting it and carrying it. And she goes, oh yeah, I saw that in your car. I'm like, yeah, note to self, people, pay attention to all the shit that's in your car. So I've moved it out now, and but it was just great to have it out, and I've got it all sanded, and I've got ideas forming on what I want to do, and I just love doing the creative stuff. And was chatting to someone the other day, and the other week now, and I said how I make fans, and you know, the response was, oh, what type of fan? So I sent some photos through of the ones that I make, and it's like, oh my god, like that's nothing what I had in mind. And so I absolutely love it, and I just wish I had more time we all wish we had to be able to do that more often and spend, you know, a lot of more dedicated time. Then having said that, I need the birds to be able to do it as well, so that in itself isn't an easy thing either. As I said, I think people don't realise the lengths that I need to go through to make these beauties, that's for sure. So going back to the card, the Magician, so it's all around manifestation and, you know, creativity, which I've just been talking about, and resourcefulness. I find that interesting because you've got to be resourceful. You are magic. And I'd always just think of that song by Olivia Newton-John in Xanadu. Like, Xanadu's like, the soundtrack for that movie is just fantastic. Like, and the song Magic, and I hear that often, and you know, sometimes I think that's a good reminder, because we are magic and we can create what we desire. It's always just we don't know that, we don't realise that, and we need to. And it's, you know, with the change of energies, it's getting easier. I mean, you know, I'm sure you'll have had that thing where you sort of wish something and then it will happen, or yeah, just some random thing will happen, and or you know, you need some money and you put it out there and you find somewhere, or someone randomly, or you get a payment put in your account or something, and you know, that's your manifestation. And if you keep your positive thoughts, and you know, you can create that, because on the other side you can manifest not so good stuff. So if you're in that mindset and you're talking about, you know, I only you know, I always get bad luck, or on good things never happen to me, and you know, all of that sort of talk that you hear people say, and you probably hear yourself say every now and then, you're going to just be putting that out, and you're going to get more of that back. So it's best to, you know, and it is hard when you're in a funky mood. It is really hard to stay positive and manifest positive things. But that's, you know, this is a pep talk to me, by the way. I feel like I'm giving myself a pep talk, because, yeah, I must say this week, the last couple of weeks, I've really got into that funk and have been talking negatively and been quite unhappy with some things in my life. And, yeah, and I've just got in that whole woe is me, pity party sort of mentality. So I think that's why I've been forcing myself to come up to the forest, to get away from that, to get that, you know, positive energy, to, you know, be less pity party. So without even going through too much, I'm going to just read the affirmation for this one. And this will go in the, I usually put this in the wordy bit in YouTube. I can manifest the life I desire through energy and action. I can manifest the life I desire through energy and action. I can manifest the life I desire through energy and action. And it's interesting with that, because I did quote something the other week when I was talking to this guy who I realised was trying to sell me Amway. But anyway, that's another story. But nice guy though. But yeah, I remember in the conversation like saying, you know, you can get whatever you want, but you've got to meet the universe halfway. You know, you've got to put some effort in. You can't just sit back and just say, you know, I want this to happen, and then just sit and do nothing. Like, you need to, you know, put a bit of effort in to attract it in. So yeah, I remember saying that to him. He's like, oh, I've got to write that one down. And it's like, yeah, you got to meet the universe halfway. Because I mean, you know, sometimes things do find you even if you are locked away in a cave kind of thing. But generally, if you want things to happen quicker, you've got to actually put a bit of effort in towards achieving that. And you know, as soon as you put some effort in, the universe will generally you know, come in and join you and help you out with that. So I think that will be my parting words. So yeah, get out there and meet the universe halfway, and just start manifesting all your desires. I know that's what I'm working on. And yeah, and also I should really say, because also I'm just thinking self-love and stuff like that. I have a half-day, I call it a half-day retreat, because that seems to be like, and I don't like copying what other people do in calling things that, but it's a half-day workshop really, at Restretch Float in Flinders Street in the city. They have an amazing little Himalayan salt cave, and it's such a beautiful little space, and it's all Himalayan salt, and they say that it's actually it's almost like a Faraday cage. So if you know what a Faraday cage is, like, you know, phones won't work and that kind of thing. It's blocking out all those EMFs that we're getting hit with big time. It blocks a lot of that out. So when you're in there and you go into a meditation, you're getting less noise when you do that. So it's a really beautiful space. I haven't 100% decided what we're doing when we're in there, but it will be pretty chill. I'll probably do a bit of a meditation and some drumming in there, but I'm not going to go for the whole hour. I think it's such a beautiful space that people can just lie back, sit back in their chair and just go. So that's coming up, and then we'll do a Chakradance afterwards around the heart chakra, one of my favourite ones. And yeah, it's like that marriage between your masculine and your feminine, yin yang, Shakti and Shiva, and you're just bringing balance into your heart. And you know, if you've been following me with Chakradance, it's definitely one of the chakras I tend to focus on a lot is the heart chakra. Just that loving yourself. And again, this is something I was talking about someone the other day. You know, you need to love yourself first. And you know that they were going through, they've got a lot of shit in their life and a lot of negative energies attached and nasty energies attached. And the best way to remove those energies from you is to love yourself. Because what those energies are doing, they're feeding off on your self-hate and your lack of love for yourself. And they're feeding off that. So they're going to keep you in that place until you can love yourself. And I got to get that in, and you know, it's really important because, and I know of someone, a healer who had that aha moment with a client that he was working with, and who just always had these negative entities attached. And it was through reading Marianne Williamson's Return to Love. So again, if you've been seeing my thing, you notice I called my heart chakra classes Return to Love. And he was reading that and he's like, oh, this is what I need to do with this client. And he just got her to give herself some love and tell herself honestly that she loved herself and had compassion for herself and really genuinely felt it. That entity was off like a shot because it doesn't want to be around love. That's not what they want. So, yeah, and that just really brought it home to me. This is why I just feel like this need. And, you know, loving yourself is really difficult. Trust me, I still have that a lot. You know, happy to love everyone else but yourself. But it needs to start with you first. And the more you love yourself, the more you're going to get the genuine love towards you as well. And, you know, you will have more to share with others. So that is going to be I think I've had a few final notes, but I think that will be it. So yeah, so that retreat or workshop is in June. I'll put the links into the blurby thing, and also of course my regular monthly Chakradance. That's next week is solar plexus, and then the month after will be heart chakra. So yeah, so I'm almost like doing heart chakra twice, like within pretty well a week. Like I've got the workshop and then I've got like the big workshop. So yeah, it's a whole lot of love next month, and oh, just sort of something. But yeah, okay, yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to that. If you are interested as well, I would love for you to come along. And for those who might have been seeing that I was offering an eCourse version, kind of had computer problems, died, lost all my recordings because all the raw files, and so I have to start again. Moral of the story, back up your computer. Don't rely on everything to be going on the cloud, because I thought it was all going on iCloud, but it wasn't. It was all going on the hard drive. So back up and listen to your intuition, because I was getting nudged for weeks before it happened. I just kept thinking, I need to back my computer up. I haven't done it. I need to back it up. Didn't, died, lost it, lesson learned. So yeah, listen to your intuition. Another nugget of wisdom from me. Anyway, I've been rambling for half an hour. I'm going to let you all go, and thanks for sitting through this if you're still here. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that, by all means reach out. Love to chat. Bye.